Hello, viewers. Greetings and welcome to this episode of Leadership Matters, a video series highlighting the stories and experiences of global leaders and providing some valuable leadership lessons. The series is hosted by Avinash Ananda, a recognized leadership advisor, happiness strategist, and a motivational keynote speaker. Over the course of more than 30 years, Avinash has personally mentored more than 1,000 leaders and trainers and trained more than 1 million individuals from all walks of life in 30 countries. Our special guest for today's episode is Sumesh Balakrishnan, founding team and CFO at Cognida.ai. In the intricate tapestry of the corporate world, there emerges an indomitable figure, Sumesh Balakrishnan. With over 18 years of relentless dedication to the art of finance leadership, Sumesh embarked on an audacious entrepreneurial odyssey in 2021 as one of the founding pillars of Cognita.ai. But Sumesh's story didn't begin here. It's an epic of financial transformation and global influence. His journey, starting with SHV Energy in 2004, took him to pinnacles like Sierra Atlantic and Hitachi Consulting. Across continents and cultures, he wielded fiscal governance like a maestro, orchestrating multiple mergers and acquisitions endeavors across India, the US, and APAC.
And viewers, welcome to yet another episode of Leadership Matters. And this time, the leader who matters is, and I have got so much in common. Sumesh, hi, how are you?
Good afternoon, Avinash. I'm doing great and good to see you, a fellow Hyderabadi today. I think it's
That's
amazing.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
So, Sumesh is in Hyderabad right now, and we were just chatting a little before the recording started. I went to school in Hyderabad, and that's where we hit it off so well. And then we spoke about, see, the background behind me is so plain. The background behind him is so full of books and so nice. And look at the clothes he's wearing. I'm in my, the denim jacket and everything, and he looks spick and span. You're from Singapore, Sumesh. You were in
No,
Singapore.
I was in Singapore for about 6 years, and that's
where you picked up your attire, what you wear.
Some of these Mandarin collar shirts. So, I love wearing this because anyway, now gone are the days when you put these open-breasted ones with the ties and all. So this is much more convenient and looks good. So especially on little heavy people like me, not as smart otherwise in the office dressing. So I liked picking this up, and it goes well with denims, goes well with casual trousers and all, Avinash. So
good. So you're inspiring me in more ways than one, huh? Okay. So Sumesh, we just heard your impressive profile, and what is this? There's finance involved, there's IT involved, a lot of IT involved, there's AI involved, and you are from just a few moments of interacting with you, such an effervescent, full of energy, articulate, sharp, with wit and humor. This is what I caught in the little few minutes here. How did that happen? I mean, usually IT people or even people who are more, or is there no generalization? We should not generalize.
No, so let me start from scratch. Right? So now I'm in Hyderabad. I've spent about 18 years in Hyderabad with a break of 6 years. So my first professional journey started in Hyderabad. Obviously, I'm a native of Kerala. And I got an opportunity after I completed my chartered accountancy and company secretaryship to work for a company by name Supergas. They're the largest LPG producing company in the world, headquartered in Netherlands in Utrecht. And the CFO of the company came to our CA campus, and we just striked. I never known about Hyderabad. For me, Hyderabad was only good for the Chamina, the biryanis, and very famous for Azaruddin those days, and Lakshman, of course, right? So these were the early memories of Hyderabad. And he said, see, you can take a call, you be here in the Calcutta office for some time, go through your initial days, but I would love to have you back in my headquarters in Banjara Hills in Hyderabad. And then I discussed with my dad. My dad said, see, for us, it's a matter of time when we relocate back to Kerala. Once me and my brother was studying then in a college. He said, once he finishes his education, you guys should all not worry about where your parents are, and you should all go and find out what's the right job. But all said and done, I came back to Hyderabad because Tarun, CFO of Supergas, he said, Sumesh, there's an opportunity, come down. And I joined this gang in Supergas. Amazing people. Spent about a year with them. Supergas was headquartered in Hyderabad, as I said, and had a lot of branch offices, gas stations, and all. Great journey to be in oil and gas the initial few days. And then I met Sanjay Jasrani, and who is my mentor, then the CFO of Sierra Atlantic. And Sanjay just showed me the roadmap for next 15 years, what he was seeing for me, which I had not seen for myself. Right.
How
So
old were you at that time when you met
I was
Sanjay?
25, would have crossed 25,
Okay.
26 maybe. I qualified at the age of 25, so 1 year, 26.
Uh-huh.
And I was in awe of this gentleman who was talking about my future, what he sees, and he was so serious about in terms of my growth aspiration, where he sees me 5 years, 10 years down the line. And I was like riding the wave. I just got an job with Supergas. I was very happy therein. And when I met Sanjay, Sierra Atlantic was a listed company from 96 to 2003. It was an IT services company. I didn't know what Sierra Atlantic was when I first got to know the name of it. I first thought it was part of Tata Sierra. Then I thought it could be part of Virgin Atlantic. Then I realized no, it's an US headquartered IT services company, and IT was booming. This is like early 2005, 2006, right? So,
Sure.
and it was Sanjay who attracted me to Sierra Atlantic. I met Sanjay, the team, and all, and then I joined Sierra Atlantic in 2005. And after that, I think there's been no looking back. A lot of opportunities came in. We kept on acquiring companies. We got to a huge size scale. Even today in Hyderabad, Sierra Atlantic has been remembered as one of those finest IT companies during that era. Amazing leadership team, great people, great work that we did for companies across, from Siemens to NEC and all those very murky clients all across. And in 2010, Hitachi, they were starting their own expansion plans. So they came across and they said they expressed interest in us. And Hitachi Consulting acquired Sierra Atlantic in 2010. So from 2011, we became part of Hitachi Group. And after that, we were part of an 110-year-old company, $100 billion revenue, 300,000 people globally. And it was like overnight, suddenly you became famous across and you became part of a huge conglomerate. So that dream run, I think from Sierra Atlantic to Hitachi, that gave a lot of us who were like upcoming leaders a great opportunity to step up, because the promoter group left, the founding team, all of Sierra Atlantic left, and the next level leadership team became the so-called leadership team of Hitachi Consulting, and we continue to grow. And
Which was you, right?
Sorry?
Which was you?
Which was me, and amongst me, a lot of other people, the sales leadership, the HR leadership, the operation leaderships, and all
Sure.
those stuff, right? So, because it was founded by two friends, Raju Reddy and Sharat Sura, so and they created an amazing culture and a great leadership team which could succeed them. And today at Cognida, most of the Sierra Atlantic crowd is back, and that's one of the reasons that we wanted to start Cognida after having spent 10 years with Hitachi.
You started this company?
No, so it was started by Firoz Mohammed, who is the CEO of Cognida. So I'm the first employee though, and I was the first guy who Firoz reached out to the team. So we know Firoz from Sierra Atlantic days, and Firoz was the CEO for the India Delivery Center. Then
so how long were you? Sorry for interrupting you, Sumesh. How long were you at this Sierra Atlantic, which became? Which
I was there for
acquired by
about
Hitachi?
5 years, Avinash. 5 years with Sierra Atlantic, and about 11 years with Hitachi. And this
so
5 plus 11 years, we had the common guys. We had the same leadership team, which is part of Cognida, because these people moved from Sierra Atlantic to Hitachi. So because, as I said, the founding team at Sierra Atlantic left, and then the so-called leadership team of Sierra Atlantic became the leadership team of Hitachi. Yeah, go ahead.
What are some of the things that you're doing similar to what you guys have been doing before that? Of course, it's completely different. It's a different type of company. Probably the work you do is different.
Yeah.
But are there something similar that you've taken from how you used to work to how you're working here?
I think one of the biggest, wow factors for us at Sierra Atlantic was a culture. And all of us, even today, if you find somebody who was part of Sierra Atlantic even for 1 year or 2 years, and the founder of Sierra Atlantic, Raju Reddy, he keeps talking about it in different forums as well. Like, it's the culture that we created, the culture of giving flexibility to people to work, to grow, and there was nothing as such of corporate decision makings or hierarchies and all those stuff. It's a completely flexible, friendly working space wherein there was a lot of trust and respect. And unlike a lot of these founding companies, right, you don't have relatives working in senior positions in finance and all those stuff. So it was a very, very professional setup run. I was lucky, I was blessed that I joined this company thanks to Sanjay, then met Firoz and a lot of these people, and extremely professional setup, very respected in terms of the way the conduct, the entire behavior, the conduct and people and all was the, I think, a phenomenal workplace. When we became Hitachi, the growth continues, but with Hitachi, what happened was it was an interesting journey. At Hitachi Consulting, our immediate parent was Americans and our grandparents were Japanese, right? So it was an interesting relationship that we had, and for them, this was the first offshore delivery center. So we were an IT services company. All the go-to market in US, in North America, and all the delivery center typically
Right.
would like the IT services markets was in India those days.
Sure.
It was difficult for them to understand how to work with offshore delivery center. We were the first offshore center for them. So as a result, we went through our own highs and lows and all, but the culture part of it kept some of us even glued together.
What
And
were
when
some of
we,
the elements of that culture?
I think transparency, trust, respect. I think we had
The
huge
one about
turnouts.
meritocracy you mentioned, right? No relatives and things over there.
Nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all professional
And
setup.
free time, you said you gave them a lot of free time.
Yeah, I mean, there was
Any
a lot
other
of flexibility,
aspects?
Avinash. I
A lot
mean,
of
for
flexibility?
example, when I was not selected to play the role of a CFO in the India setup because had known someone. I grew through the ranks. Sanjay brought me to this company. He mentored me. I mean, even from the first steps, taking me to the tax offices, to even the audits and all these discussions that I was supposed to play 5, 10, 15 years down the line. He mentored me all through it. And he saw probably something which I never saw in myself. I didn't trust me to play the roles that he trusted me to play the role. And similarly with Firoz, I think once Sanjay left, Firoz took over the reins of Hitachi, became the India Delivery Center head, became the chief operating officer for Hitachi Vantara, the digital practices. I think the confidence that and the belief that he had in me is not something when I look back I had in myself at that time. Because for me, functionally, I knew I was the best. There's nothing, because I was given the right qualification set. I mean, in India, you become a chartered accountant. That itself is very short. I mean, very short of a miracle, right? Because
Stuff, yeah? Yeah.
it is a tough course. Then you also do your company secretaryship. That also is not an easy course. So I had both the finance, the legal, both as a good combination for me to look into the financial affairs, governance, fiscal
Right.
matters, all those things. So I think the functional school tools kit was always with me, but I was always being challenged, saying that what happens when your tools of the trade changes, right? So you should look at leadership roles. I mean, you're not supposed to be only the CFO when there will be a lot of other CFOs on the street. So what is unique in them? Constantly being challenged by, especially these two gentlemen, they always nudged me, pushed me, and cajoled me, and that's the reason both these guys were instrumental in me taking up an MBA when I was in Singapore at the age of 40. I mean, people were asking me, saying that, "Are you really doing an MBA right now?" I said, "I'm doing an MBA." "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" I said, "My mentors believe that, yeah, I have to do that." I was not very convinced about me doing an MBA at that age, and that too from National University of Singapore. But once I went to NUS, the campus of me, the profs of me, I think the way I was welcomed and given a roadmap saying that in next 1.5, 2 years, 5 different countries, the case studies, the kind of professors out there, I thought this was probably a privilege that I was getting into. And
Mhm.
that's what I ended up doing my MBA as well, right? So I mean,
What
I
is your
think these were
decision
small,
making?
small steps which helped me all the way, Avinash.
Yeah. What is your decision making style, Sumesh? Are you quick or are
I'm very
you
quick.
you are? What makes you so quick?
I think the confidence, number one. Number two, the fact that I'm a very number oriented guy. So
Right.
when numbers are in front of me, it's easier for me to, and it's also a role of my function, Avinash. I mean, I don't
Sure.
take subjective decisions, right? So for me, the
Right.
decision to take a new office, the decision to hire somebody, to make an investment, these are all number based decisions.
They're logical. They're
They are
database. Everything's
logical. Yeah, I
based.
mean,
Yeah.
there's no gray side to it, right? So it's either black or white. And many a times I'm also being critiqued of being a black or white, right? So for me, it's either yes or it's no. So there are a lot of M&As that I've been part of, wherein I have to go and saying that sorry, it doesn't make sense for us to take this deal. And probably there was certain more layers to it. For me, the number wise, it didn't make sense for us to grow in that region and have economies of scale with that company which we are looking at. So many
More
a times
people or
it's easy
numbers?
for me.
Are you more people or numbers person?
And more people.
How did that happen? How did a finance guy become more people oriented?
Because of the teams that I had. So I think and the journey in Singapore, again, thanks to Firoz who pushed me to Singapore. He said, see, that you were doing that M&A, you gave a long report of what could go wrong. Unfortunately, those things are going wrong. So you better go fix it up. And Firoz had got this new role, which was a global role. He was moving to US and he wanted to fix that APAC thing as well. So along with me, there were a couple of other leaders who were asked to go and at least that acquisition that was falling apart to just keep the house in order. When I went there, the offices were spread across from China to Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and for me it was a cultural, I won't say shock, but a learning as well, right? Because I've not worked with such a diverse team directly. I've had calls and all those stuff. So I first went around and at some point of time I had more than 60 people in my team spread across 11 entities in 7
What
countries.
would they say? How many countries? How many countries?
7 countries, 11
7 countries.
entities, close to 56, 57 people team. And in Vietnam, I had a complete ladies team. So all the finance people were all women. And in China, there were majority women. So for me,
Does
first,
that make a difference?
it makes a difference if you have not worked with women leaders in the past. So for me, my first leader in Sierra Atlantic was a woman. So I knew what could be the expectation from them, the empathy factor, what are the ways and means in which you work. But frankly, Avinash, for me, beyond a point, it was all deliverables. So I'm a hard nut when it comes to deliverables, right? So I'll sympathize, I'll empathize. You can't do it. I'll roll up my sleeves. I'll do it myself. It's as simple as that. So I was that kind of a person. I mean, I'm using was because hopefully I've changed now for better. But
What
that's
have
the
you
kind of
changed
thing.
to? What have you changed to? I'm very curious to know, Sumesh, your growth, personal growth, inner
Yeah,
growth. As a leader, what are your beliefs that have changed? What are some of the qualities you've acquired? What are some of the approaches
yeah,
to people
good one.
management or decision that you've changed? Let's say in the pre-Hitachi period, then the Hitachi period, and the post, and now where you are.
No, that's a great question. I think pre-Hitachi, my role was more of a controllership kind of a role. It was more about trying to optimize costs, bring in efficiency and all. And post-Hitachi, I think when I was especially in APAC, it was more customer-focused role. I was more running a P&L wherein I had to be responsible for both P&L, so which is top line and bottom line. And I realized the initial days itself that I have to grow the top line. There's no way I can reduce my so-called cost in order to maximize my bottom line. So one of the biggest change that I see in my transformational journey is I became more business oriented. I became more business focused. A lot of my decision was not necessarily on trying to reduce cost, but trying to optimize business, get more customers, get more business. So I'll give a simple example. Probably
Mm,
10 years or maybe 11 years back, if there was a deal on the table which said the margins are north of 15-20%, whether we should do it or not, I'll say no, absolutely there's no, my vote would be that we should not be doing it because it doesn't make sense. Because as a company, margins have to be north of 40 to 45% because we'll have a sales cost of 20% and SG&A
sure,
of 10, and you need to be somewhere between 10 to 15% of net operating margin. Otherwise, there's no
sure,
point doing business.
right.
But then when I was in APAC, when I started meeting customers, I understood that customers also need a validation. They also need to understand what is the ROI out of every
Mm,
spend that they're doing, every work that we do for them.
mm,
And
mm,
as a result, we started doing small deals for them at a lower margin in order to get larger deals from them at a higher margin, right? So it was more like used as a door opener. So and the MBA also helped in terms of financial strategies, business strategies, and all. When I read the case studies of all the big companies across how they grew over the period, Sony, Samsung, even companies like Apple and all those stuff, right? We all understand why Apple launched a cheap phone, which was the Apple SE or something like that. So every
mm,
company
mm,
has its own journey. And I
mm.
realized that, today when I am part of Cognida, I think a lot of the changes that I see in myself is first, the patience level has gone up. Probably that's to do with the gray hair. I don't know how many people who are watching this video will agree to it, but I myself think that, my perspectives have become more global. It's no more number oriented only. And that's the reason when you ask me, it's number of people. There was a time when I will only be saying I'm a number oriented guy, but now it's beyond number, because as a founding team member, it's all about people as well. It's all about investing in people, ensuring that they're having a great time working for us. We are the best employer for them. The culture is right. So for me, cost versus culture, I'll probably today choose, not probably, I'll choose culture. 10 years back, I would probably choose cost. So that's a big
Does
difference
culture
that I
affect
found.
cost?
Sorry?
Does culture affect cost?
Yes, it affects cost. A big way it affects cost.
Brilliant, brilliant. Tell me, shall we do a quick rapid fire?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Love that.
you like it rapid anyway. So tell me, first tell me, you have kids?
Yes, I got a daughter, 11 years old.
Okay. 11. Wow, that's brilliant. What a lovely age. So,
I hope so, Avinash, because I'm already seeing teenage tantrums since last about a year.
that was my question. My question is, how are you as a father? How are you as a husband? And don't tell me your answer, or tell me your answer also, but tell me their answer.
So my daughter's answer, I mean, of course, she's not here, but the daughter's answer would be that he's very strict with studies. He's very lenient. Otherwise, you do whatever you want to do. You have to be disciplined. It's pretty much what my dad told me, right? So wake up early, go to bed early, and the so-called middle class values, I still cherish them, nourish them a lot, and I want my daughter also to have the same thing. Only thing is, financially, we are a little bit more independent, so she has more resources as compared to what I had. So for me, my first cricket bat is still something I can see in front of my eyes. The first the leather balls that I used to get. So for her, the resources part of it is easy, but rest of it is pretty much the same. Study on, and it doesn't mean that you have to study 8-10 hours for her age, for her curriculum. I don't want an A plus. I am okay with if somebody gets an A. And whenever I go to her school, she's quite popular in her school because of her jovial nature. It's just that I want her to be first known as a good girl, well behaved, I think courteous enough. And those are the things I'm more particular in terms of whether she's studying well or not. So you should study, cover the curriculum, be a good girl. You should be a little naughty also, but be courteous and be lovely to all the people
husband,
around.
husband, husband.
Husband, that's a tough one,
This
Avinash.
is the first time, dear viewers, that I've seen him pause. Which is also telling,
Yeah.
But let's go ahead.
I
Yeah,
mean, Chitra, my wife, she comes from an army background. So her father was in the defense, and she was born in Delhi and moved to Kerala. She's been pretty much a Kerala girl, and I think she is the source of my strength. Frankly, if I was Chitra and Sumesh was telling me, saying that, look, we are moving out of Singapore, going to India for starting something that you want to do in terms of your Cognida, your leadership team, and all those. So she knew most of the leadership team members
people.
because we
Yeah,
were very close as families and all, right?
right,
But I
right.
would not have agreed for it. I think I'll always be obliged to her, and there's a huge responsibility in me to make Cognita successful. I've told her saying that, see, in a professional's life, you don't get to sign an incorporation certificate and go and ring the bell in NASDAQ as well. I can see that happening. I did one part of it, signing the incorporation certificate and
Brilliant,
get
brilliant.
Cognita in existence legally on October 1st, 2021. And I see 8 years down the line, all 9 of us, the founding team members, we all cherish the dream of ringing the bell in NASDAQ, standing in front of Times Square and having that picture. That's what
I
is the
think this
hunger
is
and aspiration
fantastic.
that drives all of
You
us.
know what I found, Sumesh, from all of these things that we've been talking? I've been putting it in my head. I've not written down anything, but I've been putting it in my head like acronym to describe you and some of the key things that you've been talking about. So I'm using your name, like this is what I usually do. So I take your first name, Sumesh, right? And S for me is speed. Okay. Amazing, amazing. In today's day and age, it's not enough to be on the right track. It's also important to move with speed and awareness because there are others moving on the track with you. It's not, and speed comes from, for me, clarity. You cannot have speed without clarity of thought. And clarity of thought comes from reflection. Reflection comes from caring to go deeper into something. Huh? So there's a lot that speed tells. I wonder when we were talking about what is your wife's name again?
Chitra, Sri Chitra.
Chitra, ask Shri Chitra ji, ask her please, does he allow her to talk also with speed, or does he only do that? I'm just kidding about that, but it's amazing. I love your speed because your speed of speech also gives me an indication. See, how you do one thing is usually how you do everything. Also gives me an indication of your speed of decision making. Like you said, your speed of decision making comes with black and white because it's numbers, empirical, evidence based. But I have a strong feeling that your speed of decision making, even in terms of people, would be very fast
Yeah.
because your values, your fundas are very clear. Huh? See, a Warren Buffett, when he makes decisions related to finance,
Mm.
is much faster
Yeah.
than what somebody else will do because the fundamentals are clear. Huh? You seem to have reflected on your fundamentals and your philosophy, which gives you this kind of clarity and speed. So this is the S of Sumesh, speed, that I notice right now.
Thank you, Avinash. And I mean, it was wonderful hearing those great words for me from you. But yeah, I mean, you
But
summed it
you
up
see, it's
really
all
well.
logical. It's all logical. It's all based on data. It's based on whatever we've been talking right now. Process data with speed and offered back to you.
Yeah.
U is for understanding. Huh? I think you take that time to understand things, to go deep into things. It may not always appear that way because you have also a very uh, casual, friendly, spontaneous approach and a way of talking and a way of connecting with people. However, there's a very sharp and deep, keen mind behind that. Is what I observed. Your observation of details, your quick processing, and you're going deeper into things. There's a beautiful book by Cal Newport, which I suggest you read if you haven't already.
Sure.
It's called Deep Work. Deep Work.
Deep work. Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was in Obama's preferred or suggested reads that came in LinkedIn about a couple of months, but I have not had a chance to read it.
Lovely.
Thanks,
So
Avinash. I'll do that.
it's Obama and Avinash. Two people told you now. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. But you have that quality of getting into understanding things, and it's very rare that someone who goes deep into understanding things is also cultivated that exterior, I would not say facade, but I would say a good packaging. Uh, for connecting with people. Because normally, if you look at people who go deep into things, they're quiet.
Yeah.
They are more. They look like they're thinking. You camouflage that you look like you camouflage that you're thinking very well. Huh? So while you're understanding, you're also connecting. I think it's a beautiful trait. Huh? Very,
Wow.
very unique that I noticed
Never,
about
never
you.
thought of that as beautifully as you have put it across, Avinash. Thank you. But yeah, I
Based on
mean, my
data.
understanding, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to,
So
uh,
you try to get deeper. You just
yeah,
try to go beyond the level one. And I'll tell you where I got that from also. It's not something I'm making up or giving some intuitive. It's partly intuitive, but it's mostly data based. Uh, you as the winds changed, as the companies changed, where or as the size of your company or the nature of your operations changed, you changed
mm,
because you went deeper and understood at a deeper level. For example, you were a typical finance guy looking after cost. The moment you saw that you are also somewhere responsible for revenue, you go into understanding it from a revenue perspective. And you're okay with working with lower margins. So all of these things indicate depth of understanding.
and absolutely, I think there the my third mentor, I must make a mention of his name as well. Jason, who was a CFO for Hitachi Consulting. He was one of the first guys who gave me that confidence, right? So he was sitting in US. We were all three regions. There was US and Americas, which included Canada and Mexico, and then there was EMEA, which included Middle East and UK, and then there was APAC, which I was responsible for. So for him, APAC was a far-sighted thing, but he had complete trust. And when I used to reach out to him and put my points out there saying that this is the reason we are doing what we are doing and why we are doing, he was gung ho supportive of it, saying that yes, Sumit, I trust your judgment. Let's go ahead and do that. There are deals which probably we have not done it well enough, but still there was no criticism. And that was a culture part of it, which I was talking about. Right? There was so much of
Sure.
openness, there was so much of learnings in that culture. There was no finger pointing, there was no blaming. There are a lot of my decisions that I've taken because, as you rightly said, I'm little intuitive in terms of taking decisions on people as well as on
Yeah.
on certain areas as well. some of my decisions have not been, most of my decisions have not gone really well and in the right direction as well. And I've learned out of it.
Nice, nice. I love this. I love this. So this brings me to M of Sumesh, which is macro and micro.
Okay.
A combination of macro and micro, kind of a medium guy. Not the M is the mutual fund guy. Okay, so the person who is able to see both perspectives. If you have more, you can risk more. If you have less, it's more sensible to risk less.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. That's your M. This is Sumesh. Your attire, no. The Buddha part, the middle path, no? M is middle path.
Okay.
SUM. E, I would say, is empathy. I picked this up by going a little deeper into what you said and picked it up from various points of time. There is always a sense of looking at things from other people's perspectives. Whether it is looking at it from your client's perspective, that okay, they are giving us only 40%, and we are willing to take that because I understand it from their perspective that if we deliver results, then they will increase the percentage. Whether it is that empathy or whether it is empathy for your daughter, that at this age I should not pressure her too much. No, but give her that kind of free time, or whether it is empathy. So this empathy, when you were running all those employees, 57 ladies in different countries, empathy is a string that I saw that is common to everything you said. Is that true?
Yeah, it's completely true. I think I connected with all those 56, which again, all the 56 were not women employees, but most of them were, majority of them were women employees. But I empathize with them, and I personally believe after the first 3 months that I took over the job, the way I used to stand and talk, the way I used to communicate with them and all, I realized that they're not able to connect to me. They're not opening up. They're not sharing what's happening in their life. So then started having these one-on-one connects with majority of them and started understanding the problems, and then gave them all the flexibilities that they wanted. Somebody did not want to come to office early. We are talking about pre-COVID, right? So everybody was working from office. I gave them the flexibility of come at your wish, go at your wish. The only thing that matters is we used to close books by day 3. So please ensure the books are closed. And it worked like magic for me. Everybody was only concentrated, focusing on ensuring the books are closed, reports are sent, revenues are done, costs is been budgeted for. Everything become a system oriented, institutionalized model of working, because I understood the problems. I was connecting to them, whether it was I used to send them birthday wishes, birthday cakes, and these are all practices that came out later on as studies. But for me, I understood that as an Indian, when I'm standing in front of my Chinese team or with my Vietnamese team, first of all, my English is different from their English. I look different. I have a different attire. I eat a different cuisine. When they take me out for restaurants where I'm preferably a vegetarian guy. So and they don't eat veg. So I had a lot of these cultural differences with them, and thanks to that, as I said, my mentors who came in, who gave that support, who gave me the right directions and guidance over that period till I reached that cusp of that leadership where I had these team members. It was utterly wired in me, saying that how do I program myself when I meet these people or when I'm faced with this kind of situation. So empathy was a large factor, and I personally believe that all my leaders have worked with great empathy, and that's the reason they could carve out somebody like me to do what I'm doing right now. Otherwise, it would not have been possible. It's the same thing. See, for me, it was very easy, Avinash. I've just followed my mentors. I've just copied what they've done right for me, and I'm just doing that for my team. I've done that in the past. I'll continue to do that because it was very easy for me to see what they're doing is right, what they're doing is not so right, at least from my lens, which was very few. So
empathy is correct. Right? You agree?
Empathy is perfect. Yeah, empathy is perfect.
Now the S is self-effacing. Self-effacing. Self-effacing means that you don't bring yourself into consideration and have any bias because of your own ego. Like when you get into a situation, it's almost like Sumesh is not there. You're only looking at all the data points. You're only looking at the situation and you're looking at how to solve it as objectively as possible without considering your own personal likes and dislikes. You're always giving credit to your brilliant institutions. You're always giving credit to your mentors, uh, your Sanjay, and then who are the
Firoz,
others you mentioned?
Firoz and Jason. Yeah.
Yeah,
Firoz
Sanjay,
and
Feroz,
Jason.
and
Yeah.
Sanjay, Feroz, Jason. You've been talking about them. Uh, Whenever I ask you a question about your personal leadership style, you don't answer. Huh? You immediately go on. You watch the interview again. You watch the conversation. Huh?
But I mean,
You have always no.
really,
What I'm saying is beautiful. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's beautiful that you are not about yourself.
yeah.
You're
I
always
think,
giving the credit to the organization. You're always talking about the situation. You're always talking about something outside yourself, not really about yourself.
because that
Because for
outside
you,
self, sorry, Avinash, yeah,
the
but that
outside self
outside self
made
has
you.
made me. Yeah,
I know, I know, I get it. I see that. That is why I'm not saying anything is right or wrong. I'm saying it's a beautiful quality which I'm calling self-effacing. You're a very different finance leader compared to most others. Huh? And it's very interesting how I've met only I think one or two other people who have worked to develop the ability in other areas, huh? Because only when you're thinking H holistically, huh, will it work. Huh? When you look at it from the point of view of the business, when you look at it from the point of view of the entire thing systemically working, huh, that's when everything works. And I think you have that approach.
when I joined this industry 20 years back, at that time, finance was more of a bookkeeping, audit, compliance, governance, backroom job, right? So it was all about giving your board, giving your CEO, your business leaders the P&L, tell them, okay, what was the variance last year, this year, last quarter, this quarter, and all. Over the years, and especially in the last 10 years, the finance function itself has transformed. Today,
Yeah.
if you look at it, finance is more about the helping, being in the boardroom, first of all. You'll see a lot of the CFOs of mid, small, big companies in the boardroom driving decision making. And that has to come from a lot of data, analytics, forecasting, budgeting tools, and all. Today, finance leaders are standing in front and enabling the so-called decision maker, saying that what should be the next dollar be invested, what would be the ROI, what if we do this, what is the outcome. It's no more a post-mortem, it's more about a future mortem, right? So I think the way I keep loving coming back to this phrase of being value protectors, finance function and CFOs have become value creators now, right? So
Mm.
that's the huge transformation over last 2 decades, that this function itself has transformed itself, and a lot of people to be given credit to, a lot of tools to be given credit to. And as a result, the new age finance leaders, you would see more people like me who are having a global perspective, a wider horizon, beyond numbers, talking about business, talking about strategy, talking about the next 5 year plan, 10 year plans, and all those stuff. That's the
Brilliant,
development that you see now.
brilliant. Sumesh, your organization is about AI in some
It's
way.
about AI, and we started in 2021, Avinash, with an idea that we'll create a platform which is Zuno. It's an AI and ML based platform. So basically, it does predictive analytics and uses the customer's data and to any business problem, any business day problem, to solve it using data, giving them trends about what could go wrong instead of what most of the companies today use is what has gone wrong, right? So post COVID, lot of the customers today, when we were all in Hitachi, they all were asking us this question, saying that can you tell us that what can go wrong, can you tell us that what could be my attrition of this my company for next maybe 1 year 2 years down the line, can you tell me how much of inventory should I manage at shop floor, can you tell me at what production capacity my factory should be running. So there were a lot of future questions that was being asked for, and thanks to the AI technology, which is nothing but the artificial intelligence part of it, today there are data sets that can build logic by itself. So
Do you
that
have,
logic is
Sumesh?
nothing but an algorithmic based logic. Yeah.
Sure. Do you have such? First of all, AI, is it used in finance?
Yes, AI is used in finance.
Do you use it?
For us, it's a very small setup. So right now we don't use it because we are just about $6.5 million company today, 150 people. But we
Sure.
have grown rapidly over last 2 years. So I'm sure in next 2 years or so, or before that, we will be using our own homegrown. But yes, we use AI in our own company in terms of the insights part of it, which my CEO is running. So he presents this entire wonderful insights dashboard, which talks about utilization of people, the hiring plan, what was the revenue, top 5 accounts, where did we go up, where did we come down. So that entire holistic view is all driven by AI and the dashboard that he runs for us.
What is the predictive analysis using AI, which is authentic intelligence, of where Sumesh is going to be 5 years down the line?
Very close to somewhere in NASDAQ, waiting to ring the bell along with my founding team and waiting for my script to be shown on NASDAQ. It's a matter of time whether it is 5 years or 6 years, but we all cherish the dream to be there, waiting to ring the bell. Each of my founding team today makes, in the lighter mood, we all keep joking about saying that Sumesh is waiting to ring the bell, and I am waiting to ring the bell.
And I wish you all the best. I would say tathastu. I'm sure it will happen.
You.
Congratulations in advance to you and your entire team.
Yeah, somewhere down the line, Avinash, when we meet you in person, I'm sure we would have already rung the bell and you would have been seeing us in some economic times or some business news, and you'll be saying, you know what, this guy told me 5 years back that he's going to ring the bell for Cognida in NASDAQ, and see, he's done that. So I hope
not only that, that's going to happen 100%. Not only that, I'll also say, see, Sumesh, the things I told you at that time, that helped you move even faster to do that. Congratulations. No, I really wish you all the best. I love your energy. I love your speed. And I love the fact that when I start asking you a question, by the time the answer comes out, we forgot what the original question was because we've gone so much ahead into a beautiful, bright future. So, Sumesh, it was lovely to see you. Lovely to converse with you. Look forward to meeting you in person. And as I said, we need our dark glasses on because Sumesh and his company, the future is very bright. Look forward to ringing the bell sometime.
Wonderful. Yeah, no. Equally pleasure being mine, Avinash. Thanks for your time.
Great.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Take care. You have a lovely evening. Bye.